international affairs editor Philip Turle is joining me here on Philip. Philip, what are your main takeaways, if you like?
Well, of course, if you're in favour of Donald Trump, you're one of the MAGA crowd who was at that meeting yesterday. You'll be saying he was energetic, he was revolutionary, he is visionary. But if you're not, and you may be against Donald Trump or you're a Democrat, you'll be saying he was unpredictable, unhinged, erratic, and maybe destructive. So what we're seeing, I think, after 100 days is an increasing split in the United States between those in favour and those against Donald Trump. And Americans really not getting on with each other as they disagree about what Trump is doing, whether he's doing the right thing or the wrong thing for the United States of America. Now, the second thing is that we've seen a frenetic pace over the last 100 days. I mean, to quote what Donald Trump often says, we've never seen anything like it before. And 141 executive orders signed in 100 days, that is something that has never happened before either. Many of those have been blocked by judges, despite the fact there have been that many. But what Donald Trump says is, well, we're doing great, better than ever before. I think that is something that is a point of discussion between many Americans. But if you look at some of the international situations, there's not an awful lot to show. The Ukraine war was going to be solved in 24 hours. We're still waiting for a solution. Then he said 100 days. 100 days are up now. Still no ceasefire or peace deal in sight. The Gaza Strip becoming part of the United States or being taken over by the US to build a Riviera and a Trump Tower. Well, that still is a long way off. No solution to the war in Gaza in sight either. So still no chance for Donald Trump to have that coveted Nobel Peace Prize that he wants. Tariffs Liberation Day, well, that has wiped $6 trillion off the New York Stock Exchange within 24 hours. No clear answers as to exactly what that tariff deal has produced so far. We're told that many countries are on the phone to Donald Trump. Well, we still don't have any firm details about what has been reached, but still 124% tariffs on the Chinese. On the domestic front, there have been creations of 340,000 jobs. That's according to the White House, but there has been also the Department of Government Efficiency, which is run by Elon Musk. Not much to show for that either, despite all the claims that they're going to clean up the way government spending is made. $160 billion saved so far, but you have to compare that to the actual figures involved. $2 trillion is what the pledge was to save. That's far behind the $6.8 trillion that is spent on government spending every year in the United States. So $160 billion is actually not that much. Attacks on wokeism, migrant expulsions, I think that is something that has bolstered Donald Trump's popularity. 68,000 migrants in detention. That's a sharp fall in the numbers of people trying to get into the United States, especially across the border from Mexico.
That's some of the ups and downs then, Philip. But the problem for Donald Trump is, depending where things go from here, he's not doing that well in the opinion polls.
And that is where it's all coming a bit unstuck for him. If you look at the opinion polls in the US, one of them, for example, for ABC News, the Washington Post and Ipsos, finds that 55% of Americans disapprove of Donald Trump, only 39% approve. That's the worst rating of any president in the last 80 years. And if you compare that, for example, to what happened to Joe Biden after his first 100 days, he was 56% of approval rating, so a long way ahead of those 39% of Donald Trump. Is this short-term pain for a long-term gain? I think that is also something that many people are hoping, especially Donald Trump is more or less saying that's what it's going to be. But he's dismissed these polls. He says that he is in charge, and anybody who criticises him is wrong. The polls concerning a person named Donald J. Trump, are fake polls from the fake news organizations. He's also not very popular among Hispanics. He's seen a 7% fall in support from them, and also among female voters in the US. There is also a fall in support for him from there. But if you think the Democrats are doing better, think again, Stuart. The Democrats are also really doing badly in the polls right now. Only 27% of registered voters have a positive view of the Democratic Party. That's the lowest since 1990.
Let's look ahead then, Philip. I mean, how long can Donald Trump keep up this relentless activity? And this is really important, isn't it? Which key element, or could there be a key element which might make or break his presidency?
OK, positive thing for Donald Trump. You have to hand it to him that at the age of 78, when most people are sort of looking forward to a nice retirement or in the middle of a nice retirement, he is relentlessly bringing out all of these non-stop executive orders and policies and statements and pledges. It is just quite remarkable. I think there has to be a question about whether this is going to carry on and how long for. What we seem to be arriving at now is a period where we've had all the announcements, this 100 days of non-stop announcements, statements all the time. We're going to see what happens next, whether or not this is all going to fall into place and it's going to make America great again, as Donald Trump has been pledging since the start of his first mandate. But I think the one, to answer your question, the one thing that could come unstuck for him is prices. If prices don't go down in the US, they've gone down slightly, inflation's gone down as well, but not enough, then that is where he's going to come unraveled. I think most Americans don't care about the war in Ukraine. They don't care about the Gaza Strip. They don't really care about tariffs with China. They do but maybe care about that more than they do about finding a solution to the war in Ukraine. What they want is for the prices of their everyday lives to go down, food prices, the cost of living. If that doesn't happen, then I think Donald Trump is going to find himself in serious trouble. So that is his main worry right now. All of that is, the rest of it is a bit like hot air, I think, for most Americans. But it'll be interesting to see in the next 100 days just how far these policies go and whether or not Donald Trump will claw back some positivity in those opinion polls.
Philip, thanks very much. Perhaps we'll ask you 100 days' time, OK? It's a date. You can come back and let us know how it's going after 200 days. Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor.